Hi everyone, this is my presentation for my final project for my special ed endorsement at National Louis University. And my topic is to provide resources for parents and other teachers when a child with special abilities would be coming into our classroom. And I'm very excited because I discovered a young girl who was born in the Ukraine, and her name is Sofia Andrea Sanchez, and she is she's very active on social media, and she has a book that is called You Are Enough, and I'm going to read it to give you an idea of inclusion. This is a book that I would recommend for other teachers to bring into the classroom, for parents to have at home. If we would have a new child coming into our classroom, I would even suggest parents of typical children in our room to read this at home as well. So here we go. You Are Enough, a book about inclusion by Margaret O'Hare, illustrated by Sofia Cardoso, and inspired by Sofia Sanchez. You are enough. The background is, my name is Sofia Sanchez and I have Down syndrome. That means I look and learn differently than most people. I was born in a small town in the Ukraine, where I spent the first 16 months of my life in an orphanage. So here we would have an opportunity, of course, to talk about orphanage as a vocabulary word, etc. In June 2010, my forever mom and dad took me home to the United States, where I live with them and my 3 older brothers. One of my brothers has Down syndrome too. I am just like any other kid. I like to read and draw in my journal. I love people and making new friends. I dance and cheer, and my favorite subjects are Spanish, music, and theater. So here's a point where we could, of course, talk to our own students about things that we like to do and make that connection between a child with Down syndrome like Sofia, who may be coming into our classroom. I love the camera. That's how I began my acting and modeling career. I am only a kid, but I know I am someone who is happy. I am kind and loving. I have Down syndrome, and it makes things harder for me. Here she is, dressed as Jessie from Toy Story, with her brother dressed as Woody. Again, we can make that connection with our young learners. It makes things harder for me, but it's part of who I am. I believe in myself, and I want to inspire others to love themselves too, because we all are beautiful just as we are. Okay, the rest of the book goes super fast. No 2 people are exactly the same. We are all unique, and that's great. So here we would talk about some of the similarities. 2 children are wearing yellow. Some of the differences. One child is holding a cat. One child is not. How are the children moving? This child is walking. This child is using a mobility device. Things like that. Being different is what makes you special. You are just right, exactly as you are. And of course, here we have a service animal. And here we have someone with a skateboard and someone with a special ability here with walking. Being different can be lonely. You may feel like you don't belong. Here's where we can talk about times where we've all felt that way as well, and what we can do when we feel that way. But we're all in this together. Everyone needs a friend. Here we would talk about what friendship means in this example. Friends help one another. In this particular picture here, I would use this as an opportunity to talk about how the student in the mobility device could be actually helping the typical children who seem to be picking up her books. I like to pivot to give an alternative strength character. So instead of assuming that because she's in the mobility device, they're helping her, she may be providing some excellent insights here into a bullying situation, a homework scenario, etc. So it's a talking point. Friends learn from one another. Friends know that no two people are alike. A friend will celebrate you just as you are. But some people don't understand. They think being different is scary. And here we can talk about that it's okay to feel scared sometimes when someone is different, and we can offer suggestions on what to do when we feel that way. We can use our words, we can find some space for our own, we can think before we say things, we can talk to a teacher or a parent or a friend. Just a few ideas. Try to be good and brave and strong. Let people see the real you. Sometimes things might seem bigger than you, but you are stronger than your fears. That's why you have courage. Here's another vocab word for us. Courage is when something is scary, but you do it anyway. Don't let anyone try to stop you from taking a chance or trying something new. And here is a depiction of Sophia Sanchez and some things that she likes to do. Even though people say things like, no way, that's too risky, don't do it, no, or you can't. She blocks that out, and she does a lot of things. Surround yourself with people who love you. And who are those people in this picture? Her family? Yes. Listen to them when they say, you can. We always have people in our lives who tell us that we can do things. We just have to know where to look to find them. When you fall down, you get back up. Stay fierce. You know you've got this. Don't stay on the sidelines. It's your story, so be the star. And here's that special abilities individual using his assistive devices and his very strong leg to play soccer. Be you wherever you are. If people stop and stare, just keep going. So here's an ideal moment, of course, to talk about how to make eye contact with people who are of special abilities. Of course, we want to take the opportunity to make eye contact and say hello and not be avoidant, but we also don't want to stare and look too long. So it's a nice moment to teach the children that social grace. Of course, remember, not everyone may understand you, but that doesn't mean you still can't be happy just the way you are. Never say no to being yourself. Feel your own beauty inside and out. When you let your light shine, you brighten the world. As Sophia Sanchez has done. Wouldn't it be boring if everyone was the same? Being different is beautiful. How is this monkey different? Well, he's a different color and he's very smart because he's the only one getting the banana, as you can see. And here's Sophia. Just be you because you are enough. Being enough means you are full of love. You have purpose. What is purpose? That's another vocabulary word. Purpose is when we set out to do something special. You aren't perfect. No one is. But you are okay being perfectly yourself. You are enough, and your friend is enough. Your teacher and neighbor are enough too. Remember that we all belong. Look for the good in the world and start by looking in the mirror. Love what you see there. That is for sure, because just like me, you are enough, says Sophia Sanchez. And then here's more information about Sophia. Again, she was born in the Ukraine, and then she was adopted by a family in the U.S. And she currently, of course, is thriving in school, and she has her own social media presence. So hopefully you can find her as a resource. A couple other resources I recommend for parents, other teachers, caregivers. Again, my scenario is if a special ability child was coming to my classroom, would be this book. One of my favorites, Poppie, the One-Eyed Pug. This is by Sharron Hopcus. This one, of course, is about this pug with one eye. And predictably, he is sad because he has one eye and his litter mates are adopted before he is. So he becomes lonely and sad. Of course, we'll talk about how we know he is sad. We see the tear. And then one day, someone pulls up in a car. He wags his tail and he notices she has a special ability. She is using a mobility device. So they are both special. He has one eye. She has special abilities to use this very cool mobility chair, which not everyone knows how to do. And they end up spending their life together. Poppie the One-Eyed Pug, one of my favorites. So this would be a classroom must for me. This one, You Are Enough. And a couple other suggestions here. Dancing with Daddy. This is another child who is at the daddy-daughter dance. She also has a special ability of using the mobility device. They can be quite tricky. Not everyone knows how to do it. And she is just a stunning girl who has lots of cool moves. And that's a must for my room as well. It's by Anitra Rowe Schulte, illustrated by Chen. Okay, I recommend that one. Oh, A Friend for Henry. This one is by Jen Bailey, illustrated by Mika Song. This is about a child who presents some personality traits that we might see from someone on the spectrum. And he likes to have more space, and he appreciates quiet time, and he is a rule follower. He's very strong with rules. And he finds someone who is very parallel in her interests, and they become special friends. So the story is lovely, And I recommend this for my room as well, for parents. For older children, maybe the middle school level, Junkyard Wonders by Patricia Polacco is a little bit, this requires a little more support and discussion because it's about children who discover that their special needs class is described as the junkyard by other kids. So this is one to spend some time on. Great resource. One of my favorites for some quick takeaway poetry about being inclusive, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. All of the songs and poems by Mr. Fred Rogers are in this book. Great resource. You can find this one on Amazon. And one of the books in my program that I use to learn more about the levels and topics of the books I would include in my room. This book, Adapting Early Childhood Curricula for Children with Disabilities and Special Needs. This is my go-to. And this is from our program at National Louis University. So I'll have all this in my paper on my report that I'll upload as well, but I just wanted to talk about these things in person on screen. And again, please, if you have time, look up Sofia Sanchez from the Ukraine, amazing little girl who inspired this story. Thank you so much for watching my video.